Have you ever been in this position where you're working really hard to improve your grades, but it just gets worse? And so you're getting upset, you're doubting yourself, you're like, don't I even know what I'm doing? And if you recognize it, because I've been there, because of that cycle, I went to find out what I was doing wrong. I spent I spent everything I could spend to understand school and what I didn't know, because it was pretty difficult for me. It's not like I felt, I consider myself a genius anyway, but um, if I'm failing in school, what type of genius am I really? You get? So I was just like, come on. But I always tell people this: Einstein also failed in school. That one is no indication of your intelligence. But at the same time, we all want to do well in school because it's a challenge that has been put in front of us. It helps us prove that, yeah, we know what we're doing, we're in control of this situation and all of that. But yet, motivation tends to be low. You have issues with course have issues with lecturers, have issues with the material, have issues with your time management. You're tired, you're lacking motivation, everything just gets worse. That's the reason why research exists. It's because of all this. But the thing is, motivation, you can't fake it. If you don't like something, you can't pretend to like it. So whenever I'm telling people like, oh, we've made school easy, this is not an overstatement or just something to try and get your attention. It's legitimate because we're able to channel motivation. So motivation for, I don't know, your profile picture says it's a drawing or so. So it looks like you like art, maybe. I'm just guessing here. But if, for example, you're an artist, when it's time for you to draw something, your attention focused on the drawing is 100. You don't feel stressed. You love it, unless maybe the piece is challenging to you, but you still want to finish it because doing that thing brings you joy. Now, that same energy can be channeled into schoolwork. And that's part of what I try to show through my guidebook. You can't fake motivation, but you can channel it and change it from one form to another. It is energy. Energy is that ability to do work. We all have that. Even if you don't have any skills, but you're good at playing chess or tic-tac-toe or, I don't know, Sudoku, whatever, it shows that, yes, you can focus on a task and get it done, and you can channel your energy to provide a solution. So there's no such thing as, oh, I can't do it. Is if you have the willingness to do it. That's really it. So for us here, most of the people who follow research and people I talk to and students and everything, most of them have this thing in common. They are very smart people, actually, because I have conversations with students regularly, very smart. Oh, I think Ifeoluwa Simipo is the one I met. I think I met you 2 weeks ago or so. But yeah, very intelligent people, but at the same time, very distracted because they don't really want to be in school, or it's stressing them out. Or, I mean, some are there, but they are more interested in other things. That's part of the Q&A I'm actually going to ask, because students have more interest than just classes and grades. And those things they take from your time and energy and focus and mentality and all that. And the goal is not to eradicate them, but use the energy that powers them to power you to actually get what you want from school, so that you can get both. Because I say it a lot. While in school, I was a musician. I still am a musician. I was making music almost every day. I was also a freelancer. I was taking contract gigs. I started even getting clients in the US from like 200 level. By the time I was in 500 level, I already had a job with some US company working in their marketing department. And this is because of skills I was building up. I wasn't just doing only my books, but at the same time, I was able to balance my grades with making money, with pursuing my passions, with a social life, with everything. And that's just what I want for as many students as will care to listen. But without their commitment, I really can't help them. If they are not willing to put the commitment of, yeah, I will listen, and yes, I will invest, those two things will lock you down, and you want to get value for your money. So you definitely have to put in the work. And the thing is, I've made it as simple as possible, but I mean, uh it's one thing to tell someone that you have something valuable for them. It's another thing for them to accept it and run with it. But like I always say, free advice is mostly ignored. So I try not to give as much advice as possible because they listen to the content, they come back and tell me, oh hi, recess, thank you for this, we loved it. I ask, did you do it? The answer is no. And it's very disappointing because those people they will never buy, they will never listen, and they are not ready to change yet. When they are ready, maybe it's failure that will push them. For me, what pushed me to change was that I had failed for 3 semesters back to back. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I should go and get help. So maybe they are just like me, want to. So two things before I ask a question from you or ask you for anything that's on your mind. How many semesters do you have left? I think I've asked you this but in particular, if Simiko, but this is for anyone else who will be listening to this. How many semesters do you have left? And even if you have just one semester left, you mastering how to balance your mentality, time, energy, and focus, those things are what will get you anything else you want. Anything else. Like, you will need to learn this anyway. I've had friends, or rather course mates, because I don't really know them, but course mates who maybe I'm doing something and they didn't appreciate my methods or thought my methods were unusual or not typical. Maybe my course mates are not interested in maybe all my classmates are dubbing, for example. Me, I'm not even against. I have no moral or ethical. That one's not my business. My own is I want to put in the work and see the direct results. Because, for example, money, you can't dub how to make money. You have to do work. Even if you are stealing, you have to work. Do you get? That's why I say you have to learn those four, no matter what you're doing. And the sooner you learn them, the better for yourself. School is just the best environment for you to be able to learn how to balance your mentality, time, energy, and focus. And what I do is break them down into small bricks like Legos for you so that you can build with them. And once you see school or any task or anything that way, you never really are the same again. You know how to channel your energy and manage your time and your focus, and you get things done. And it's like you're not working because you pay attention to yourself. You know the biological things that you're doing to mess yourself up, and the things you can also do to improve yourself, the psychological too, and even sociological. Yeah, from many aspects, it's just to optimize those because I believe those four are your God-given, if I may say, resources that even like no matter who you are, we all have those four. Do you get? That's something that we all have like equally on this planet. We have those four, and the difference between you and the next person is how they are able to use them. No matter how much privilege someone has, if they are not wise, they'll waste it. So the whole point of this is to give you as much wisdom as I have possible to, and I'm always improving the book. So I mean, you have nothing to lose. Anyway, so I'm done with my tiny rant. If you missed it, I will still publish this as a podcast. So, but I'd love to, hear your questions. What is your biggest challenge in school? Before you ask, you have to tell me how many semesters you have left and your biggest problem in school. Then you can ask me another question. So,
Okay, sorry, can you hear me? I don't know. I was trying
yeah,
finding it very hard to hear you.
I see. But this is recorded anyway, so you hear it again.
Okay. I think my question is like, okay, I have an exam. I have exams in the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
What is the best preparation? Because I've been preparing. I've been studying. I've been studying, creating flashcards and all those extra stuff. So, what do you feel is the best preparation for this said exam that is to come next week? Because every time I study, I feel like I'm not really doing enough, no matter how much hours I put in place. I just see, most of the times, I mean, I'm already done, I'm almost done with one course. I've gone through three courses, right, but I've not finished them. I've not like
Okay.
finished the content inside them, and I'm just jumping from one course to other course to other course. I don't think that's healthy. So yeah, I think that's my question.
Okay. Can you hear me? Son of God. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah. How many semesters do you have left?
After this semester, one more semester, then I'm done with school.
So yeah, you have about a semester left after this one. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Um, I don't know if you follow us on Instagram. There is a highlight that is especially prepared for exams because I get texts from students. I wake up and see a text from like 3 a.m. about someone who was panicking about their exam. So I've already preloaded responses for that in case I'm not even available so that they just have what to do. But there's a highlight on our Instagram page that gives you a 3-step process, right? But for any exam, I've tweeted this and I've posted it on our page a couple of times. To pass any exam requires 3 things. Is if you understand the material, understand the lecturer, and you have confidence in what you've learned. So understanding the material means, and that's where the highlights we have on the Instagram page is about, where you divide the material into 3 steps, where you either you give them scores for bulk, complexity, and confidence as well, because that's about the material itself. And then understanding the lecturer. Sometimes lecturers try to intimidate students and just play mind games. I mean, we had stuff like that in my uni. Just mind games to make you scared of the course, maybe to just hoping that it will make you take the course more seriously, but it does more harm than good. And I guess they don't know that, or maybe they are proud of it, or they think it's an effective approach. But you can't afford to be afraid of the material or the lecturer. If you know the lecturer's patterns and the way, because I've mentioned this a couple of times, that you should be recording your lectures so that you can hear what the lecturer is saying. Once you understand the lecturer itself and you just have to sort out either the bulk or the complexity of the material, all that's left to do, I guess that those are the things I highlight in chapters 7 and 9. All that is left to do is testing your knowledge. You have to know how to test your knowledge, and that's part of what the book teaches you. If you don't test your knowledge, you are not learning. So it shows you how to test it and ways to be sure that you are learning, the metrics to help you pay attention to. So what that means is the reason you don't, and there's also another Instagram reel that is in that highlight that talks about how your anxiety can mess up your exam. That's why the third thing, confidence in your learning, is as important as knowing it. If you know it and you don't think you know it, then you don't know it because you write rubbish. And then after the exam, you're like, oh my God, I knew this thing. Because you're not confident. And an exam is a psychological test of your confidence more than anything else. Because the difference on the road, I don't know who is an engineer, I don't know who is a doctor, I don't know. It's you and your own confidence in what you have learned that shows me that yes, you know what you're doing. So that is part of the point of the exam. Although exams, they don't tell you this, and that is part of why I'm always emphasizing getting this book, because there are things they don't tell you, perspectives you should bring when you're coming to class, when you're writing a test, when you're writing exams, that help you know what they are testing you for. If your confidence is low, you are not going to do as well in the exam. You panic and then you go and start. Maybe you're afraid that you fail and you carry over, maybe because it's your final year, and you go and dub and you're not happy because it's not you that did it. It's just like you're just trying to avoid a situation. And you pay for that thing, in my opinion. You pay because the confidence you should have in your learning of the material, you won't have it because that's what the exam is designed to test. So for your thing in particular, go through the highlights. That's just the actionable step I'll tell you now. Go through that highlight and take every single thing seriously. If you want more help, I recommend you go and get that book and skim. It's something you can skim through. Their guidelines is not a novel, so that you know exactly what to prepare for your calm. Your, like I tell people all the time, when I was writing exams, I was always calm. There are certain things I would not do, and there are certain things I would do to make sure that I'm getting my best and I'm putting in my best and getting the best results. I was getting so many A's. Like lecturers admired me. Like this is, and it's not that I was, and like I discovered, even though I'm myself a genius or whatever, that's not what determines if I know the thing or not. Is if I've stored it in my head in a way that I understand it and can pour it back. And like I said, testing that knowledge is the only way to do that. So I show you ways to help you test that knowledge through my book, like I say. But I mean,
Sorry,
the
which chapter
problem.
did you say I should go to?
Pardon?
Sorry, which chapter did you say? Is it the entire book or a particular chapter?
You will find them. The whole book is designed to help you at every level, right? But when you have an exam, they are still. It's also designed to handle your current problem. So chapters 7, 9, 13, I think, or 12, I'm not sure, but it's self-maintenance. And then the one on exams, that's 14. And so I missed any, and 16 too. Yeah, 16 too. So ideally, just go read the whole book. Instead of, if you don't want to buy it now, you can borrow those ones. They are limited slots, for those ones. But pretty much you should go through it. It won't take you up to 2 hours to read everything. It won't. And that's if you're reading very slowly. If you're skimming through it, you're done. But it's a guidebook. It shows you, okay, this is what I need to do at this point. So you should definitely jump at it. It just organizes all the information for you. So you don't have to be doing piece by piece. And I'll just leave you with this. Your confidence is the biggest determinant of that score in the exam. And this no, I'm not talking about delusion because I've been deluded or delusional, yeah. In my maybe like 200 level, I'm writing rubbish and I think I know what I'm doing. You can't get that kind of confidence if you don't test your knowledge. But when you test your knowledge, you know that yes, I've subjected myself to the rigors that I'm expecting from this course, and so nothing can scare me. If you've been in a gunfight, are you afraid of guns? That's just pretty much that's it. So your fear is coming because you are uncertain. And whenever you're uncertain, this is normal. We're human beings, we experience uncertainty regularly. Whenever you're uncertain, the next step, which is what you've done here, which is commendable, you look for a new perspective, look for answers, find help from someone who has solved the problem for you. So you find out what you need to do. And like I'm saying, the if you're already scared before the exam, you need to calm. That is your first. You need to calm down and get a real understanding of your level in the course. And then another thing, yeah, almost forgot to say this. You should build a study plan for your exams. Build it based on when you have the exams. Don't just jump around reading course by course. Build a study plan. Don't just, in fact, the moment exam timetables were out, I just go and write my own down. And based on when the exams are, I know, okay, I'll use this block of time to do this. That's why I say that whole book is important because it's about managing everything. There's stuff, for example, in the energy chapter that would help you in your exams that if you don't know and you're busy reading only one chapter, you may not get it. So that's even why we just completely stop selling chapters because it's like it gives you partial advice and I want you to get the whole thing. So we just stop that. Said it's better you just buy it or rent it. I'll borrow the book. But yeah, even if you're not ready to buy yet, go through the highlights on the Instagram page. And yeah, I wish you good luck in school. Wish you success. Do you have any other questions, or does Ifeoluwa Simipo have any questions? What I
Thank you so much for this privilege. Oh, was someone saying something?
No, I was just wondering if he could hear me. Yeah,
Oh,
nice
I
to
can
meet
yes.
still
you.
hear you. Thank you. Thank you very
Awesome,
much. I
awesome,
can still
awesome.
hear you.
No problem, no problem.
Okay, so you pretty much like addressed what I want to ask, but I would
Okay.
like to ask that when it comes to like studying specific subjects,
Yeah.
kind of different strategies because I noticed writing. history exams for me has kind of been tasking. I did not
Okay.
pick history. I've not done history before. Like
Okay.
but I'm doing right now. And okay, first you said we should talk about, we should mention how many semesters we have left. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
currently after this we're in sixth week now. This is sixth week. I have 2 semesters left
Yeah.
to graduate.
So which you're almost done.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Congrats.
looking at wow, thank you. Looking at the old team, I've really been trying. Like the first time I wrote exam in that department, it was more like I was just using my personal knowledge. So seeing the results and everything, I was like, oh, seems like there's more to this writing and all. But then these teachers don't really talk about it. I don't know how, I don't even know what else to do like this. I don't know what they are expecting, if it is to write so
Yeah.
many pages or to write, I don't even understand. Different people just have like different rules and all. And like you said, they are very good at just instilling fear in people. And I don't
And
understand
you
why
can't be
people would
phased
like
by
to
it
do
now.
that.
You can't afford to be phased by it. I talk about in that book, I talk about how I had a terrible lecturer that just wanted, this guy has failed so many people, like this is his reputation. So when we were entering the level, he told us, this guy, don't worry, you guys will fail. And I'm like, not me. Oh. I'm not going to fail. So what you observe is, and what I did in my own case, is observe this person's patterns. What do they do? And the material that they're actually teaching you, they overhype its complexity to make you take it more seriously. Whenever someone is heightening your emotions, just know that they are trying to distract you from the main point. You can't even afford to do that. You have to be calm. That calmness is key. I was telling him, calmness is key to passing exams, to writing and whatever. But your question is more nuanced. In the book, I talk about how you should, whenever in doubt, go and meet your lecturer. Go and meet your lecturer and ask them, okay, madam, I am completely confused. I remember the first time I asked somebody to do this, she laughed. And I mean, she's done with school now, but she told me she eventually did it, and she's very grateful that she actually did it. She laughs because we're not used to someone who has presented to you as, oh, I am an intimidating person, is not the person you want to go and meet. But they are exactly the person you should meet. That is who your parents paid school fees to instruct you. So it's like, oh, I didn't do so well in this test, and I'm not sure, I don't have so much experience with history. How do I get an A in your course? That is like, and the lecturer first of all is shocked because you Nigerian students don't ask such questions. In my experience, and that's what I talk about in this book a lot. Unorthodox methods are the ones that get you results. You can't be doing what everybody else is doing. You're going to get common results. That's not what you want. This is for people who accept that, look, I'm not the same as anybody else, and my standards are different. I want to get good grades and I want to get what I want out of life and all that. So you have to make sure that you're ready to take those steps. You as a lecturer, I mean, I'm not asking you to get close to them or be their friend or whatever. No, you don't need to farm anything. You just ask, is a student a lecturer thing? You're not trying to be their friend. You don't need to buy them lunch. If they ask all those questions, there are other options. So you go and meet, you can buy them lunch if you want to, but nobody should pressure you to do that. That is rubbish. But you can go meet this lecturer and find out what it is that they need from you. Another example is to go and meet a coursemate who did well in that test and compare what you did to what they did. And this is not just look, students do this thing where okay, they look at your test and look at theirs. I'm like, oh, okay, no, go and write it down. This is where I should have done this. Observe everything, the differences, write them out, and they become part of your own ask now for that course. You can't afford to just, what's the word, let it to chance. So I also commend you for being here, because if you leave it to chance, what ends up happening is you don't get what you want. And in this life, there's nothing that you want, that you go and that you actually want, that you just leave to chance. There's no money that will come and find you if you sit down in your house. That it doesn't happen. There's no way. And in the same way, your grades too, there are things that you have to, there are steps you have to take. So even if you feel, oh, I'm not used to this see it as okay, a new challenge, a new way. Because what it will do actually, I don't know the course you're in, but what it will do is improve and inform your knowledge about how you navigate through your field. If it's added to your courses, that means the academic planning officials felt it was important to let you learn history to improve your own confidence in the facts you'll be stating. I was at a campus yesterday and I was explaining to them that I can reduce the percentage of their failing students and blah blah blah. It's just some business. But now, me talking to them one on one by just speaking confidently, clearly, and simply, I'm not even trying to wind them with jargon or whatever, just stating the results, stating the data, showing them my track record. They are interested in what I have to say. Those people are training you to be a professional in this field. So if they feel like you should learn history, then consider it okay, fine, a worthy challenge. Even if you don't like it, even if it's not your strong suit. That's in the book, chapter 7, studying chapter 8. It goes in detail about navigating such things because you have to make sure that you learn it in a way that works for you. There's also a blog on the website you should check out, how to learn anything. So if you go to the website, scroll down to the bottom, you see some links there. There's a link to the blog, then go find how to learn anything. It basically explains, it's kind of a piece out of the study chapter, just a small piece, but it's useful. Explains how to personalize any knowledge. Is like the knowledge is not yours until you've learned it. Before I restarted research in 2022, because I paused after 2019, I went to get a diploma in educational psychology. And what we're taught is you've not learned anything until it changes you. If it hasn't changed you, you've not learned. So that's also related to what I was telling that look, you have to make sure that you are confident in this thing. And that confidence in this thing that's what new knowledge does to you. It's like money that entered your account, it just changes you to a different person. Let's say 3 million enters your account right now. Your identity just changed. Whether you like it or not, it has changed. You have learned new information about yourself, your status, your ability to solve your problems. That is what knowledge should do to you. And the point of learning is to make sure that that knowledge becomes part of your own. Or even if you don't agree with it, you understand the differences between your views and what the lecturer is presenting. Those are two fields of learning, assimilation and something else. Can't remember. But anyway, that's pretty much what is expected of you in class. So don't even feel afraid. Go and meet the lecturer, ask them, sir, man, what can I do to get an A in your course? Also go and meet the students that did well and compare what you did to them. And even if they allow you to talk to them, one thing that in my set, we really, not me, but they really drained the class geniuses of the time. They made them almost resentful after a while, because if everybody is knocking at your door to explain, you hardly have time to even do the reading that you want to read, So I definitely recommend, those are the ones I'll say you can go and meet them with gift or something, or with chow or whatever, or offer to do something to make their lives easier. They explain it to you. Maybe you guys can even study that particular course together. You don't have to be besties. You just explain your motives. I need your help with history. Is there anything I can do to make your life easier temporarily while we pass this course? This person will respect you because you care enough about your grades. If they disrespect you, leave please immediately. No time about how to manage such relationships in the book. But it's important that you take these steps immediately and fill up all the holes in your perspective, because until you have a full perspective about what you are learning, you can't be confident of the material. You can't say that you understand the lecturer. You are afraid of them. You don't understand them. You are scared. They've terrified you, and you can't understand the material because that fear of them rubs off on the material and on you when it's time to. I've written an exam where a lecturer scared the hell out of me, and it's like, and I did rubbish in the test, and I'm like, this man, I will never do this nonsense again. Like, I'm not afraid of you at all, zero. And I went to master it. When I was done, he called me and asked me to be his project student when it was time for final year. You get, so they have their own reasons for doing all those things. It's to try and put you off balance, but they are hoping that if you bounce back, you will bounce back stronger. And it's actually true, but I don't fully agree with their methods. You get, but yeah, that is it. So you don't be phased by all that. I hope that has answered your question. Does anyone have any more before we call it a day?
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to ask this, right? When you mean by test, do you mean quizzes or quiz and exams?
You mean when I'm talking about testing yourself?
No, I mean tests, like tests, school tests. Do you mean quizzes
Any
alone
test of
or
your
quiz and
knowledge.
exams?
Any test of your knowledge, any, they are all the same to me. It is asking you to call on information that you have supposedly learned. And like I was explaining to Ifeolu Atimikpo, that you've not learned until it has become part of your perspective. So the test is asking you, is it part of your perspective? So if I ask you your name, you don't need to think about it because it's part of you. You get, that is pretty much because you've been tested on it many times. Do you understand? That is pretty much what I mean by tests. So no matter what you, when I say test your knowledge or prepare for test and exam, all they are all the same thing. They are all calling you. They are calling on the knowledge that you've stored in your brain and asking you, okay, is it there? Have you understood the there are lecturers that will even give you marks for method, even if your answer itself. I've made some arithmetic mistakes because I was so excited, and because that's another thing. Confidence, overconfidence can mess up your exam. Let's say you know everything, you're feeling good. You can't write rubbish because you are too gingered. So you have to be in a state of tranquil. You have to be calm, like extremely calm, if you want to pass a test or exam. So life is every day is an exam. That's why I tell people every day is an exam. So there are people that are not students who also buy my book and use it and for their work, lives, and businesses, whatever. Every day is an exam. And if you see every day as an exam, you will be hell bent on passing it because you want to know what the metrics are, what the material is, and to remain confident in every day so that you can pass the exam of every day. Wake up the next morning and you're ready to write the next one. I don't know if it's making sense to you. But if I've not answered your question, please interrupt me. I have a feeling that you may be saying
Yeah,
something else. I don't know.
yeah, kind of. But actually, I answered it well. But there's this thing. Now you said go to the people that did well in the tests and exams.
Mhm,
Let me think. I want to like. Let me sorry. Let me be vulnerable here a little bit, right? When it comes
yeah,
to
that's
my
what it's
school,
good.
right, it's a federal
Mhm,
school. It's a federal school, right? So
mhm,
after the exams or after the tests or quiz exams, after we're done with any of them, we don't get to see
mhm.
the scores until a week to our exams.
I think.
That's not right. We know that's not right.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's the
normal.
situation we found ourselves in.
Yeah,
That's the
normal.
situation we found ourselves in. So
Mhm,
now you find out that you have a carryover in two courses that you thought you did well
mhm.
in, but for some reason you didn't do well in. Now
Yeah.
you want to get me people that got A, but they don't remember anything because this was just last year or last
Yeah.
semester. They don't remember anything at
Mhm,
all. For instance,
mhm.
what am I now supposed to do at this point? Because if
Next
I
step.
get I got a carryover in a last year's course, and I'm
Mhm.
now in a new year. What am
Yeah.
I supposed to do in that situation?
Yeah, I had three carryovers throughout my uni period, so don't worry. There's not nobody can make you feel anything. Any shege you're seeing, I've seen it before, and I've been able to bounce back. That's why this exists. So the thing is, the first thing I mentioned was talking to the lecturer. The students are just an easier route if you're having trouble with the lecturers. In that book, there are different strategies for solving this particular problem. This is why I'm always hammering it. Get it, get it, get it. It sounds I don't know whether it's because it's in a book format or whether it's because, but it's very straight to the point. I don't beat around the bush. Do this if you face this problem. Do this if you face this problem. If that one doesn't work, do this. That is literally it. Like you can't lose with it. So the first thing I mentioned was go and meet the lecturer. If lecturer is giving you a hard time, right? You just know that yeah, the lecturer is giving me a hard time. I have no other students to meet. There's also advice in I think that was chapter one, go and meet other students in the carryover course. There's chapter one is particularly dedicated to carryovers and extremely angry and tired students, frustrated by the school system and everything. There are steps there to help you make sure that you're maximum. Because the first carryover I did, I almost failed it again. And it's not that I wasn't doing the work, it's that I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Sometimes it's clashing with my classes, and I'm thinking, oh, the school will fix it. I just learned so many lessons during that period. So there are a bunch of lessons I put in there to make sure that, okay, if you have to do a course again, this is what you need to do to make sure that you pass that course and you get an A, no matter how much you hate it. So that's that. There's just my best advice is to both of you is go get that book. If you don't want to buy it, it's available to rent. We still have up to 2 spaces. Still available to rent. You can buy for 15,950 or rent for 5K a month. That one is up to you. You guys have exams recently, so you may not this month. If you already know the things that are inside, you don't need to buy it again. But I suspect that you may need to buy it again. So you can buy it again later. Buy the whole copy after you've rented. But yeah, that is it from me today. I'm about to even head out if I have something to do. I hope I've been able to add value to you today and that your time has been well spent. I aim to do that with all my interactions.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for answering the questions. But I have like one more question, and
Okay.
this is like about research. Do you
That's
have anything to
like a
like say about that?
master's.
What did you say?
Your final year project.
Yes.
No, not really. But naturally, this history that I am studying has to like do with research a lot. And recently, I just discovered because I entered in part two as a DE student.
Okay.
So I just discovered that research is not just mere going to Google to go and find out this
Ah,
and find out
you
that
don't care.
and going to chat GPT and all. Like it just
No.
occurred to me sincerely. So I'm like, okay, how do you like make a reasonable research? Because people,
So I
you said something about. I'm sorry for cutting you. I'm really sorry, but you said something about going to meet your because personally I thought about meeting lecturers before, but most of them act like demons. So I just like tend to relay with my classmates. And you see these
you
people,
can meet them too.
they act like they don't know anything. That's just one annoying thing about them.
And that
They
one
act
Guys,
like they
is
don't know
there's different.
anything.
crazy.
Yeah, there are
Meanwhile,
different. Uh-huh. Meanwhile, what?
like some of them are doing very good. At least I know like two guys, and I went to meet them personally, and they'll be like, they'll even be whining you that you are the boss. Like they would not say a thing, and you will see them playing every day. So like I'm just really pissed. Who do I now want to go to?
What I think, like I said, your lecturers will answer you. If they don't, then that's a different. There are other strategies. But they will answer you. Your approach just has to be sensible and straightforward. And your questions have to be clear. If you're talking to your lecturer, you know they have office hours. You know when to meet them. You know who to meet. You can even their emails are probably in the materials that they send out to you, sef, and maybe phone numbers. Sef. Some are that kind and that available. Depending on the lecturer's vibe, even the ones that are they're always squeezing their face, you can meet them. Lecturers are in academia. Academia, all they do is pass on knowledge and improve the world of knowledge for all human beings. Lecturers are forced, not even forced, mandated to publish research papers on their findings. They are in most universities, they need to publish a minimum of like two, I think, per year if they want to keep the job. Do you understand? So they are always improving their own knowledge. If they find students that are eager to learn, they are eager to meet you too. So don't even let that one deceive you. They put up that tough exterior because students are disrespectful. I've talked to lecturers during my final year. Your mates, they are disrespectful, and it's not their fault. That truly they are kids. But at the same time, lecturers don't want to have to deal with that. So they'll put up a front that they are not approachable, but fashy it and go and meet them, and then they'll answer you. For your customers that are whining you, you can try. Like I said, most of them, it's possible that they just get a lot of people disturbing them, and they don't want to have to deal with more. And like I said, you can trade things with them. For example, it's like it's like normal, like young people will trade now. It's like normal. Okay, what is your biggest problem right now? How can I help you get rid of it? You get, but if somebody's telling you rubbish and that you don't want to hear, don't even don't that they are not the only they're not the only way out. Most people, if you buy them lunch, you can ask them, can I take you out to lunch and ask you some questions about this course? You who will not answer? They will answer you like this. Free lunch, they will answer you. And then what they will answer you. And then what do you say? Okay, research. As part of your purchase of the book, you get some materials that will help you in that direction, and you get materials that help you with your final year project. So that when I spent how many months trying to find materials that will guide me. Nothing on YouTube and all these places were making sense until I found this particular resource. And when I was done with my project, the visiting lecturer from UI said it was a master's level work. So yeah, it's legit. So it's part of, I think that's in chapter 8. So you guys, the best thing you can do for yourself is spend that money and get proper results. Spend money and see proper. You have a guide that doesn't whine you, that okay, yes, if I do this and do this and do this, I'll get this result. There are so many things for it to work. I'll tell you why it will work, and if that one doesn't work, you try another one. There are so many. So just go through. Like I say, all these problems that you're facing, they've been solved before. I always say that. So never feel like your issues are isolated to you. I tell you, other people have gone through them and they found ways out of it. So what I did was to collect all the ways. I made sure that, because I didn't go to a federal, I went to a private, but at the same time, I understand that there are some differences between federal and private. So I made sure I sent this book to all my federal university friends and asked them, okay, do you have any methods to add to this? Do you have these people? Like, I even paid people to add like edits to it. Like, okay, what would you do in this situation? Just to make sure that this book is as helpful as possible for every student who buys it. I don't believe in wasting people's money or people's time. I want to make sure that you're getting good value for your investment. So if you guys are ready to get it, just text me, or you have my Instagram. If you don't have it, I can send you a link. I can send you a buy link or whatever. You guys, please help yourselves. That's the best thing I can do. We can talk all this one, but you forget. The human brain forgets, I think, almost half of what we listen to. So don't even bet on all this one. Get that book and you make sure people read that thing like every weekend though. You don't know how important people that have bought it, don't worry, they know what they have bought. When I said I was increasing price, they were in full support because they know that what they are getting is far more than the money that they are paying. That money is nothing. You get. So, but anyway, it's up to you guys. I guess I've been able to address all those questions. Research. One more thing I'll say about research. Yeah, research papers are the currency of today's academic world. But the thing about research papers is that they are hidden behind a paywall that is not even reflective of Nigeria's economy or situation. They don't care. You can see a research paper that tells you if you want to read it, you must pay £131 or €300 or €800 to get, just to know this thing. So as a student, there are ways that we've collected from other students before us and lecturers and all these things. So I now present those ones, and they keep those things hush hush. That's why you don't see me putting it on my Instagram or whatever. There are things that you get that you won't get anywhere else. You get. So if you're interested in those ones, definitely that one you have to buy the book. You can't just that one. If you're just renting, but either way, you still get value for your money. That one is just for
So
research
how do
paper.
we rent?
That one is just for research. I can send you a link for that one. That one
So how
is
do we
5K a month. That one, it works with Google Docs. So I'll just add you in. You will be added to our catalog, and then you get an email before it renews. If you want to renew, if you want to cancel, you can cancel. You get. It's
this?
just
Because
yeah.
at this point, I'm just selecting books. I think I
Yeah.
just bought one chapter last week. Later
Oh,
to
it
buy
will help
another
you. That's
one
why
when
we
I get
stop.
my allowance.
Now we stop selling chapters because it's to give you patch. It doesn't help you. And I want to make sure you're getting a full thing. I understand. Oh yeah, you don't want to spend too much and all that, but if it's going to be
It's,
what your
it's not
future
even
and
the too
everything,
much self. It's just that ego. There's nobody in Nigeria. There's nothing somewhere in Nigeria. My allowance does not equate to it. My allowance is just
because
literally just 10K. So
because there's
if
money
I
in
buy the
Nigeria.
book, it's literally my allowance.
I was going to say there's money in Nigeria because
My
people have been buying it too. So
I know.
the P is for you now. Like even if, like I said, there are many ways to get that book. Even that I don't know if you've seen the alt pay. option. There are ways for you to, even if you don't have money. That's how important this thing is to me, right? There are like four that we've removed chapters now because we want to make sure you get. If you call a friend, if
Oh,
you call multiple friends, the price just keeps getting flat. So the more people that buy with you, the less money you guys spend in total. That's one. Another one is on the website. Sha. Another one is where you create content for research and then you get book for like dead cheap. It's amazing. But anyway, if you don't like, if money is your problem, that we've made sure that money is not should not be the reason why you don't get the help you need. Do you understand? I'm not. It's a business, but at the
yeah.
same time, I'm trying to help as many people as possible. But if you are not ready to commit, you won't see results. So I made sure that they all require some form of sacrifice from you because that's the only way I'm sure that you will listen. Do you get? So yeah. Anyhow, I'm about to head out anyway. If you need the link to borrow, I can send that to you.
Yes.
Did I send that? Okay, great. If you're asking for you, do you need any links?
Yes, but I will get back to you like during the week.
Oh yeah, no, no, Allah. You guys take care of yourselves and thanks for coming to my show. Bye.
Bye. Thank